Welcome into
There's some
that
audio.
Timmy. Bring me down a little bit, please. That Timmy, I'm going to get him back. Welcome into the Upstate Pulse. My name is Lonzo. It is a beautiful Saturday night. I have been sabotaged.
Sabotaged?
Is he in program also? Is he on?
Do you not hear me?
There we go.
Oh, look at that. Now I am on.
He got you too. He got you too. So, Squire Tim. And yes, that is his nickname for a reason. He used to be on this program a while ago. So he was in here doing some recording and he didn't put the board back the way it should have been. So I'm blaming him and I will get my revenge. Don't tell him though. Do not tell him. Welcome into a beautiful Saturday night here on the Upstate Pulse. If this is the first time you have listened to this program, where you been, dude? I mean, we've been here for, I think, going on 9 years. You know, when you're closing in on a decade, you just kind of forget how long you've been somewhere. But we've been here for a long time, nerding out on a Saturday night. So if you are a fan of this station, then you're like, where's the politics? Not here. We don't talk politics here. You get plenty of politics with our award-winning programming Monday through Friday with Tara and Vince and Charlie and all the other people who do a wonderful job. I say award-winning, we got trophies for it. So, so that means if you got trophies, then you're award-winning. That's how that works.
That is how that works.
It's absolutely how that works. So let me tell you what we're going to talk about tonight. We are going to review Black Adam. Matthew, the other voice that you heard over there.
Yes, that's me.
The wonderful, if you see him walking down the hall, there's no way you'd think, wow, that voice comes out of that dude. Because it's amazing, the power. I don't know. I don't know from whence it comes, but it's...
By the power of Grayskull.
That might be where it comes from.
It's true. It is. I say that every morning to prep up my voice. That's how it works.
We all have our little, voice exercises, and I'm not surprised that's yours. Maybe a little bit of Darth Vader, maybe some Barry White. I'm not even sure you know who Barry White is, but
the name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to it.
It's all right. He's got a really deep voice, and he's fun to listen to, depending on what you're doing, if you know what I mean. So we are also going to be talking. We got a oops going on. We're going to talk some Halloween Havoc, and we're not going to do it for Nerf Wall because we don't have the full retinue of peoples here tonight. And Halloween Havoc actually happens tonight at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to do this in the first hour, give some predictions and what I think is going to happen tonight. We also have Nerd Roundtable. We also have, for the very first time, by the way, let me tell you where you can see us at. You can see us as well as hear us. Obviously, you're hearing me talk now, but we are live on Facebook at 106.3 WORD, on the Upstate Pulse, on my personal Facebook page, Lonzo on Word. I was talking to LexCorp yesterday about this, about how many things we're on and how much fun it is to try to tell you all the things we're on. We are also on YouTube at the Upstate Pulse and 106.3 WORD. And we're on Twitch at the Upstate Pulse. And I think we're on Twitter. Yeah, I forgot about Twitter.
Yep.
On 106.3 WORD and my personal Twitter, which is Lonzo on Word. So there we go. There you go. You can see the show live. We do the show live. We were the first ones in the building to do it. We perfected it to the point where if anyone has a problem with this program, they ask me about it and I pretend like I know what I'm doing. And then I muddle my way towards fixing it like I did with Tara, and then she gave all the credit to Chris. Gosh. It's all right, though. I'll get over it. I see you all. I see you guys all on there. I'll get to your messages in a minute. You can also be a part of the show by texting us at 71307. We got a new guy on the show tonight. Probably not a nerd, but that's fine. That's fine because we all nerd out in our own way.
We welcome all here.
Yeah, we do. I think we all are. You can be a sports nerd. You can be a music nerd. You can be a nerd, and you can be a triple nerd like some of us are. I might be a quadruple nerd. I don't know. I'm nerding all over the place, but
I mean, I'm the only one here that actually reads manga, so.
There we go. Manga nerd. There we go. So we have Tron, and Tron, we don't have to give you a nickname.
No.
Yeah, because you already got one, and your nickname's very cool. When I found out we had a Tron coming to work here, I was like, yes. But my reasons for it and your reasons are totally different because, I'm thinking Tron the game, Tron the movie, all that stuff.
Absolutely. That's how I introduce myself.
There you go.
Tron in the movie.
All right, you gotta see, man. All this bass. I mean, pump yourself up. Give yourself some volume.
I think I'm up there now.
Have you played the Tron stand-up arcade game?
I have not. I actually want to buy one if I can get my hands on one.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So the game has one of those stalks with the trigger on it, and it's blue and it's all lit up, and it's one of those things back in the day when you went to an arcade. It was one of the things that brought you over there, and I hated light cycles. But still, so Tron is on the show with us, and he is training, and he's got a new album coming out next month, so we're going to talk about that some too. Because by the way, Matthew's the only one that's not a musician. It doesn't mean he doesn't like music, even though he doesn't play air guitar. I'm always going to say that you don't play air guitar. But
Call me out like that.
Well, you did it. You said it on the air. I mean, I did ask you a question. So Tim, T2 plays guitar, and you've actually heard and seen him play guitar during the Christmas karaoke special. Cameron plays bass. I used to have a band, but I retired because everyone quit. That's usually how that works. Everyone quits. Everyone quits, and you go, you know what? I'm done. So used to have a Christian rock band called Crimson Promise. Still have a Facebook page up. Check it out if you want. Every time I mention it, people do. And Cameron was actually in that band a little bit near the end of its run, and it's like, we need a bass player. Learn how to play bass. Okay, and then he did, and then he got up there and was jamming. So I mean, not anyone can do that. Not anyone can be told, hey, I need you to do this, and they're able to do it musically. So. We are a musical show. We talk a lot of music on the show because we have a lot of musicians, and Matthew. So
did you play an instrument?
I took two hammers and beat on a keyboard with it and pretended like it was. No, see, I do play the keyboard. Did play the keyboard, but the thing is, I surrounded myself with really good musicians to the point where people thought I could play what I couldn't. But I wrote all the songs and was also lead singer along with my wife, and so we were together, I think, for a decade, playing a bunch of Christian festivals and things like that. We had a lot of fun, but then started getting rotations of people coming through, and finally, this got in the way. So, I mean, Saturday nights was when we used to play all the time, and I had a chance to do a gig at Presbyterian College to be the pregame show at Presbyterian, and then I was also doing a sports show here. And there was just no time in between, and everyone quit. So, I mean, it just all happened at one time. And
the perfect storm.
Yeah,
I also started having that problem of them, people recognize me when we went places, and when they would introduce the band, they'd say my name first.
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that. No, because if you've ever been in a band, it doesn't matter if it's a Christian band, country band, the thrash band, whatever, there's egos involved.
Prince and the Revolution.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's different. That's Prince, though. Yeah. And when that starts happening, bands usually, they don't like that. So no one said anything, but you could see the looks on their faces, and it's just like, and what do you say to the people who introduce you that way? It's thank you for listening, but man, don't do that. Do not do that. So I have all kinds of band stories. Had a lot of fun back in the day when we did that. So we're going to be talking a lot of music in the second hour. Let's look at the Facebook messages. Let's see. Dig says, what's up? G. I bet he's talking to you because I ain't no G. Well, I guess I am. Old G. And Neil, movies are fake. Wrestling. I completely agree with you. We're going to talk some wrestling. We're going to talk some Halloween Havoc here in a little bit. Let's see. Scott says, guys, perhaps tonight you could talk about the successor to the fad of eating Tide Pods, people cooking chicken in NyQuil. Matthew, you know anything about that?
I've heard that that's a thing, and every day we stray further from the light of God.
There we go. And the reason why I'm asking Matthew is because Matthew does news, so there's a good shot that he's probably read something about that.
Well, that's not something that would actually go in a news thing unless someone like locally died from it or something like that. I hate to say that, but that's just not a relevant story for a news department. But I'm very active online, so I've heard about it. Yeah.
There we go. So, and Trey says, I've heard the three tenors, but you guys might be the three basses. Tron has a deep voice too. No, man. I mean, I think I'm an octave higher than those guys, but I am having some sinus problems tonight, so maybe not. I want to talk about for a second our sponsor, Borderlands Comics and Games, because first of all, they're awesome. If you haven't been there, you need to check it out, but you might want to wait till November 12th. No, you should go in the store now. You should go into the store
You
now.
got to experience the store they're in right now before they move to their new location.
That's very true. So you go into the old store, you have a good, you go in there if you're looking for, some action figures, if you're looking for manga as Matthew was talking about, if you're looking for regular comic books, if you just want to go in and hang out, they also have live games going on all the time. So they have boards in there where you can go in and play Warhammer or play Dungeons and Dragons. But it is one of those places where even someone like me, who's very introverted and tries to not talk in public at all, I go in there and can just have a conversation and feel completely comfortable because you feel like you're in there with people who are into the same stuff you're into, which is what you expect when you go into some place like that. There's no pressure. There's no people going, hey, you going to buy that? Hey, you going to buy that? No, they're going to walk up. They're going to talk to you. They're going to ask you if you need any help, or they'll just leave you alone. But the new store opens November 12th. It's going to be at 410 South Pleasantburg. We've been talking about this new store for a long time with Rob Young, who's been on the show a ton of times. He's a part of the show. I mean, he is. And you got the old, I don't want to say government roadblocks, but you got to have a bunch of permits and all those kind of things. And COVID got in the way. There were so many things, so many obstacles. Well, now it's done. So, I mean, the store is done. It's ready to go. Opening them up November 12th. We'll be continuing to talk about it and get him on before the actual store opens. I want to be there when they turn the open sign. I want to be there and see that because it's going to be 3 times the size of the store they have now. And it's going to be really, really cool. Speaking of really cool, before we take a break, every year on this program, we celebrate holidays, including Halloween. And next week is our Halloween show. We're going to tell Halloween stories. Trust me, Tim used to live in a haunted house. He's told the story before. It's interesting. Mr. I don't believe AI can take over the world believes in ghosts. So, okay. But he's going to talk about, I just realized I still have the Terror Show up on my thing.
Yeah, you're still the Terror Show today.
I'm still the Terror Show. But it's Terror Show 1021, so I'm the Terror Show of the past, like Ghosts of Christmas Past.
We're speaking of ghosts.
Yes, I was. So we are going to dress up as we always do on Halloween. All right, some of us do. There's no. I'm not blaming you. You got time. I'm not blaming you, Matthew.
I might find something. I was trying to set up a cosplay with a friend who does cosplays, and they just did not have the time to put anything together for me.
I can bring you a cape. You can be Super Matthew.
Put an M on his chest.
There you go. Hey, it's not about,
Copyright pending.
how much money you put into it. It's about, yeah. So anyway, we will be dressing up. What I was talking about is some of the hosts from the past, one of which might be listening right now, wasn't into the dressing up thing for Halloween. He always dressed up for Christmas because ugly sweaters and all that kind of stuff, but never for Halloween. I think he thinks it's a silly holiday, and it is. It's evil and all that kind of stuff, but there's candy. So we're going to be dressing up for Halloween, and I am letting my beard grow for it. And it's I know you got that going on, Tron, but it's driving me nuts. It's driving me. I can't wait to get rid of it. So, but one more week because I have something in mind. And you may be asking, Lonzo, why do you need a longer beard? Well, you have to tune in next week to the show to find out. So we're going to be playing some Halloween music and talking, all that stuff next week. All right. Chris wants to know where Cameron is tonight. He's at a party. He doesn't work here. So, he's like, I'm going to a party. I'm like, okay, have fun. He made jalapeno poppers. I'm sure that they were wonderful.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, because he makes those pretty good. He wraps them in bacon. Yeah, so they're tasty. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk Black Adam. And I'm trying to decide if I want to be, I'll leave it up to you guys whether I spoil or not. So let me know. Text line 71307 or on one of our streams or all of our streams if you just want to message them all. Should we spoil Black Adam or not? We're still going to talk about it. You listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD.
So I did that.
Yeah, you're good. The initial problem, that's I should have looked at that too. So as a rule, when you come and you sit down at a board, look at the board. Because even though the guy before you should take care of you and put everything back, they don't always do that. And so technically it's your responsibility. In this case, it's my responsibility because I was showing you and I even looked at the board and I didn't notice. So from now on, when you come and sit down,
Look at the board.
yeah. Scott says, Tron, welcome to the realm of the alpha nerds.
Welcome.
I think I gotta talk louder because I am maxed out.
Well, that's not your thingy, is it? If you don't want to take it off. If you don't want to get closer. That's not what I wanted up there. What am I doing?
Sorry, I just hit my mic. Hope that wasn't loud and annoying for anybody listening. Sorry about that.
It's all right. A lot of these guys also listen to Rob Brown, and Rob Brown cannot do a show without hitting his mic at least 35 times. I hope he's watching. I know he's not because I know he's working somewhere else. But yeah,
He works somewhere else.
he has like 25 jobs. So he is Mr. Media. I believe he is doing Swamp Rabbits tonight.
Oh, okay.
He hosts.
Just want rabbits.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Tron's going to tell us about his music in the next hour, Trey.
Mm-hmm. Should fight Captain Marvel. I mean, eventually I would.
I think when he
he's.
says Captain Marvel, I think he's thinking Shazam, but they changed Shazam. Shazam used to be Captain Marvel,
Yeah, they did.
but because of Miss Marvel and everything, and
A lot of copyright and just general confusion.
yeah, so they had to change it.
Yeah.
He should, but here's the problem with that: they're not going to do that because Shazam is more kid friendly, and Black Adam was not. So you guys ain't telling me if we should spoil or not. I might leave it up to Matthew.
I'm 100% down to spoil, but I don't want to spoil it if people don't want us to, of course.
Just because I'm looking doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong.
Okay.
You got music ready to go, right? Okay, all right. I agree, Mark. Shazam will always be the original Captain but is he? Because they changed the name, which means Marvel must have won that battle.
Nope.
Back in the day, there was a Shazam live-action TV show
Yep.
in the 70s. They had 70s hairstyles and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I've seen screenshots of it.
Yeah, I was there, so.
Give us another week before spoil. All right. Only one person had said anything about spoilers, and they said no spoilers.
Yeah. No one on the text cares. We also have South Carolina. See, the one thing about during this time of year, either South Carolina or Clemson are playing, it cuts the audience down some, and which I'm used to. That's fine. That's why I usually try some stuff during this time of year that I may not try other times, but not today, though. Today I'm just, taking it easy.
Testing season.
Yeah. It's more, let's see if the boss is listening. All right, so Chris says do it. So now we got a tie.
We got 1 and 1. We got a
Yeah,
tie.
we got a tie. Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo here along with Matthew and Tron. For those of you wanting to know where Cameron is, Cameron's at a party, and Tim is working a wedding. So there you go. So that's how it usually goes. Cameron being social, Tim's working. So I'm good with that, and I'm such a good boss. I said, you're going to make how much? Yeah, do that. And with Cameron, yes, you should be social. Get out there. Do your thing, whatever that is. All right, so we are going to talk Black Adam right now. I'm still trying to decide about spoiling. I'm probably
We
going
have
to.
another person on our live stream saying do it, and another one saying haven't seen it yet, but I can dip out.
All right, so for the most part, I can talk. We can talk about the characters without spoiling, but I have to talk. I may have to talk about the mid-credit scene. Just because it's been rumored so much, it's probably not going to be a surprise to too many people. Okay, so as far as the movie goes, here's the problem I have when critiquing a movie like this. we were talking off the air on the stream, which you should watch on the stream because the show continues during the commercials. That's what we do. It's what we've always done. And some of the conversations we have off the air are even nerdier than the ones we have on the air. But so back in the 70s, when I was a little kid, and yes, I was a little kid in the 70s, I dreamt, as most kids did those days, about what real superhero movies could look like, and now they're there. So it's hard for me to watch a superhero movie and not come away going, yeah, I loved it. There have been some times where it's like, yeah, it was not that good. I will say that I really, really like this movie. And Matthew's seen it too, so he can give you his opinion on it. Before we talk about the movie itself, I will say the biggest downfall, and it's not really a downfall, but the weakest part of this movie is Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, he's fine. He's not an amazing actor. He's not a bad actor. He does whatever role that he takes perfectly fine enough. But yeah, he definitely doesn't have the highs of some other top name actors.
But here's the problem with this movie. Usually when The Rock's in a movie, he's The Rock.
Yeah.
Yes, he's not The Rock in this movie.
In this movie, he's very stoic. He does have some sarcasm, but the problem with the sarcasm, it's not really a problem because the best kind of sarcasm is you can drop it and people don't know if you're being serious or not. And that's what he's trying to, there's some things that they could have developed a little bit better. I saw it compared to Terminator 2 and how John Connor was trying to tell the Terminator, say it this way and things like that. There's a little bit of that going on with the kid and with Black Adam. And there was no emotion behind his delivery, which is fine. Because at least he played it that way through the whole movie. He never changed. But the actor who played Hawkman was awesome.
He did a fantastic job. What's his name that played Dr. Fate? I don't remember.
Pierce Brosnan. Yeah.
He was a fantastic Dr. Fate.
Yes. Because we've seen Dr. Fate in some TV shows, mostly, trying to think last time I saw him on a TV show. It might have been like Legends of Tomorrow or something like that. So it's been on some TV shows, but never on the big screen like this.
Oh, yeah.
The effects were good, and I expected the effects to be good.
I actually didn't. The effects were fine, but compared to how I've seen them done in the comics and how I've seen them done in animated shows, it just does not stack up whatsoever. It's this, because if you've seen some, it's even in the trailers, it's this translucent kind of yellow thing that you can't really make out the shapes of the cross that he's normally trying to make. So it's really kind of hard to see that and get that whole idea of the visuals of his magic. I will say also they had like 1 or 2 spells that he just kind of used over and over again, and that was the only thing that he really did, which kind of sucked in fight scenes. But otherwise, yeah.
My favorite new character is Cyclone, though. I thought,
yeah,
I really enjoyed
I liked,
Cyclone.
her and Adam Smasher. I liked their dynamic. It was pretty fun.
So Adam Smasher, I can spoil without spoiling, is a kid who is just trying on being a superhero for the first time.
He's out of his depth.
Yeah, and he's clumsy.
He's very clumsy.
Yeah, so he has to deal with being clumsy and doing this the first time. And he also, his uncle was the superhero before him, so he's just kind of trying to live up to his uncle. His uncle, by the way, is a very famous person. Matthew, did you know who that was?
I know who it is. I cannot remember the name.
Okay, I'm wondering if you knew who it was. All right, I'm gonna spoil. It's Henry Winkler, because there's some people who don't know who Henry Winkler is. But the Fonz back in my day, he was also Mr. Coach Klein from Waterboy. He's I think he's in a show called Dexter right now. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, he is his uncle, and that was pretty cool.
So does this movie give you the introduction and the backstory like most?
Yes.
Yeah, for the most
does.
part.
It doesn't give you the backstory of the JSA, but here's the problem, and I've seen a couple other reviews for this also. The JSA was the best part of the movie. I wanted to see more of them. I love the interaction of the team, and Hawkman is, no matter if it's cartoon or in comics, he's kind of a punk. He
yeah.
always is kind of a
I
punk.
will say I grew up watching the Justice League animated show, and I never really cared about Hawkman in that show. I loved Hawkman in this movie. He was so much fun.
He was, and he was still kind of a punk, but
Yeah.
but he was the counter, and it's really a matter of trying to figure out what's good, what's evil, and is there an in between thing? Can you and Black Adam is basically an anti-hero, which is fine, but once you hear his backstory, and I thought you could pretty much figure it out pretty early what it was, and it's not what you think it is. When you finally find out who he really is and why he's doing what he's doing. But then there were cameos, including Amanda Waller, who's got
she had some level of degree of
Yeah.
effect on the story.
Yeah,
She's a
but
little more than a cameo,
She's
but
got a lot more power since Suicide Squad,
oh yeah,
and since
she
since
is a
Peacemaker.
lot closer to the Amanda Waller that we know
Yes, she is, and also Harcourt is in it. If you watch Peacemaker, and now there are some people. Tron, did you watch Peacemaker?
I didn't watch.
Oh, okay. Peacemaker, don't watch it with kids around, but it's yeah.
I might need to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's. Did you watch the Suicide Squad with John Cena? In it?
I did.
Okay, it's that.
Oh,
It's
okay,
that.
yeah.
It's that,
Awesome.
but for an entire series.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of the lady agents in that Harcourt is actually in this too, and she's also got a step up in jobs because I love the prison. I thought that was pretty cool. That when you look and see how many metahumans they actually have in prison, there was a lot. I wish they would have zoomed in a little bit so we could actually figure out who some of those guys were.
I thought it was a little lackluster as far as the visuals of it because it was kind of just a hall and that was it.
Yeah, well, it's underwater. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they could have done a little bit more with it, but
you don't want them
it
too
wasn't-
close to each other because the Wonder Twins could be down there because obviously they're criminals and they should be down there.
Of course.
So the movie gets over. I was good with it for the most part. Again, I'm not going to come out and going, "Oh, that's the greatest movie I've ever seen." I came out how I thought it would.
Yeah, it was fine.
yeah.
It was better than some of the other DC live action movies of the recent age, which is nice because there have been a lot of lackluster ones. So that was very nice. Otherwise, it wasn't anything super special, but it was fine.
All right, if you don't want a spoiler and you don't know who's in the mid credit scene, I'm going to say it right now because I have to. Because this is going to be something that I want to ask everybody going forward, everyone in this room and everyone listening right now. Audible pops. Now a pop is really a wrestling term. It's a crowd, being so loud that it pops. It happens in theaters sometimes when something unforeseen happens, or or you're so happy this one killed that one, or whatever. There was an audible pop in the theater Thursday night in IMAX when the mid-credit scene rolled, and out came Superman. And the Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I'm still gonna call him The Rock. He's been going around saying, "Henry Cavill's my Superman. Henry Cavill's my." He has said this a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he's talked to in the last 6 months, so everyone pretty much knows it's going to be him. But there's always that little bit of doubt that maybe he won't come out. And when he did at the end, my theater popped, and then there was someone in the theater who just went, "Oh my God, it's Superman." And they were screaming and they were pounding on the chair. And I've never seen that kind of reaction. I didn't see because I didn't look. But because I just walked out smiling because I felt like that on the inside too. Because to me, Henry Cavill is the best Superman of all time. And I was a kid when Christopher Reeves was Superman. And that's the first real superhero movie that came out that was like, okay, this is great. But they were going crazy. And it got me to thinking about other times I've been in a theater when I've heard pops. And a couple have come to mind for me. Actually, I don't really need to look at that. When Yoda pulled out his lightsaber to fight Count Dooku, the crowd in the theater I was in went nuts. Just as soon as he started pulling it out, and it's like, is he going to fight? And then when he started fighting, it was nonstop cheering. When you hear Falcon say "on your left" at the end of Endgame, when half of them came back, there are so many movie pops that I can think of. So text line 71307 or on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, what have you been present for? You've been in the theater and there is an audible pop to the point where you're like, everyone's cheering, everyone's going nuts when they've seen it.
Well, I watched it with some friends. We were watching Endgame, and I think it was when I think Captain America, when he picked up Thor's
Hammer.
and he was like, "I knew you could do it." Like the group that I was with we went crazy because it was just something that
because
you was waiting on it.
You speculate, and when he tried to pick it up before, you knew that he was just being modest and just didn't do it. You think of any?
I mean, just kind of the general stuff. I haven't really seen a whole ton of that. I'd normally try and go when there's not a ton of people because I specifically don't like those. It takes away from my experience. I don't like people screaming and yelling in theaters when I'm watching a movie. I want to focus on it.
You're such a buzzkill, but I get it. I get it too. I don't like when people talk. I don't like when people laugh so loud that you can't hear the next line because that next line is usually the better line.
Specifically, people talking all the time completely ruined my enjoyment of Dragon Ball Super Broly when it came out. And I was in college, and I went with some friends, and there was a group of guys behind us that every time Bulma was on screen, they shouted out some things that are very not pleasant to say, and that I will not repeat.
They were probably accurate, though.
They were probably accurate, but they were also not very nice to say, and it put us in a bad mood the entire time.
All right, we're going to take a break. Let us know. Text line 71307. Also, Chris on the stream says some Spider-Man movies, especially Far From Home, when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showed up. The theater I was in went kind of crazy, and I get that. You listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD. All right, so I know we still have one more break after this. So instead of coming back with the rejoin, come back with the wrestling intro. Okay. Because that starts at 8 o'clock, so I probably should go through that real quick. And then we'll take another break.
I will say it did feel a little edgy at times in the movie, especially when what's-her-name said that, that darkness is what lets him do the things that other heroes like you can't. And I'm just sitting there like, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. That's the kind of energy that I felt from that.
All right, take it out of the trash can first. Yeah, wrestling intro. Yeah. All right, so just put it. Yeah, just put it where the rejoin will be. And take the rejoin out. You put it in the wrong spot. So move it. You got a minute. You're good. No, you got to click the thing and then move it. You're up one more stop sign. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. There you go, up in there. Get rid of that rejoin. If you got rid of the other rejoin, just move that rejoin down to where you deleted the one. No, wrong one. You gotta unhighlight everything you're highlighting. It's good. You're good. Wait. Yeah, you're good. Now take it down to the end of that. I think you unclicked it. No, remember a lot of people have this problem. So don't feel like you're unique as far as that goes and hit move. Took Tim forever. Right? You moved to the wrong place, but you're close. Move it above that stop sign. Okay. The end of stop sign.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that too, Mark and Wrath of Khan. No, it needs to go above that set mode.
Right here.
Yes. I believe in you. There you go. This music is a little hot. All right, because Halloween Havoc actually starts in 20 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Now, normally when we do premium live events or pay-per-views for wrestling, we all pick them and someone faces the Nerf wall, as Matthew did last week
I did.
for the first time.
I lost in legendary fashion, though. And I
Yes.
will take that.
Yeah,
I will take that L.
No one has went over, and he went over in the history of this contest, which has been going on for at least 6 or 7 of the 8 years.
The most WL that I've ever taken.
It is, and it can never be topped. It can only be equaled. So there you go. So you got that going for you.
You can't even equal it because it was the first.
Well, there's that. It was historic. It absolutely was. So we're not doing that because we're missing some people. And even though I got Rob Brown's picks, and I know you guys want Rob Brown on the wall, I don't. I want him on that wall too. I do, but he just doesn't lose. I mean, and I'm not gonna try to cheat or make a way to where he loses. I think even if he tried to lose, which he won't because he doesn't want to be on the wall, it's a point of pride. So far, he and Cameron are the only ones who've never been on that wall. Wow. Cameron lost once, but he couldn't be here, and I took the wall for him. So
You got to do a makeup for that one.
yeah, but it's my son. I can't do that.
Oh, wow.
I got take a bullet for your kid, that sort of thing. But Matthew took it like a champ. He got lucky he didn't have the rotary gun to deal with.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I've seen that gun. That's,
it's an amazing thing, and it hurts.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and I didn't shoot him with the gun that I showed you because only a couple people get that. And
talking about the one, the really powerful.
yeah, my a Boba Fett gun. Yeah, that one. It says it's Nerf, but that spring is rough. All right, so tonight at 8:00 NXT Halloween Havoc, which is going to be probably a premium live event going forward. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we've got another break to take. Let us start out with an ambulance match between Julius Creed and Damon Kemp. Here's the backstory. Damon Kemp joined Diamond Mine and undermined Diamond Mine to the point where he jumped Roddy and put him in the hospital. And he chained Julius to a cage so they couldn't defend their titles. So he's been that guy. That's that disruptive guy. And ambulance matches are interesting because first of all, they're no holds barred, which means you can use weapons, you can use anything. And the way you win an ambulance match, Matthew, because I'm sure you want to know. I'm sure
I
you're
care
very excited
so
about
much.
this. Here's how you win is you put someone in the back of the ambulance and you close the door.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
All right.
So
yeah, gotcha.
So the best thing to do is to render them unconscious and then put them in the ambulance. And that's how that goes.
That sounds like really fun to watch.
Or
really funny.
It actually is. The stipulations are that if Julius loses, his brother is out of NXT forever. So there's those stipulations on it. And Julius went to my alma mater, which is Otterbein in Ohio, and I couldn't find out if he was actually in my fraternity, but looking at him, he was in my fraternity. You got a certain look. I was talking to Rob Brown about this. You can look at certain people who went to your college, if you went to it, and you know what fraternity they were in. Not because they have those scars on or you just got to look.
What fraternity do you think I was in?
I don't believe you were in one.
You would be correct.
Yes. People are a little shocked that I was in one, but I was trying to get rid of some of the shyness and some things like that because they will. And I went the first time. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. And then they came and found me and brought me.
Oh wow.
And I was like, I could have fought back, but they were bigger than me. So I'm like, okay, I'll go do it. And they had a problem because I don't drink and I've never drank. A lot of the things that they do in hazing, which you're not supposed to do, but everyone still does, revolved around drinking and getting the pledges drunk so you could get them to believe more things. They couldn't do that with me. Wow. And to the point, one of the things they did, they would blindfold you, take you 4 steps up, and they put a towel down and put glass and nails and stuff and say, if you trust your brother, you can jump over this. I heard him move the towel. I mean, it's on a towel. I'm looking at it, it's like, they're going to move that towel. So I jumped right where the towel was because I heard them move the towel. And they freaked out. Why would you do that? I was like, I heard you move the towel, man. I mean, so they had to come up with different stuff for me because of what I because I wasn't drinking. All right, Mark on the on YouTube says sounds like a Creed brother may move up, may end up in the main roster. Maybe, I'm not sure he's ready, but you never know. Triple H is doing a lot of stuff with a lot of people. All right, and what's up, Brantley? Next match is a spin the wheel, make a deal match between Apollo Crews and Grayson Waller. So because it's Halloween Havoc, they have a bunch of matches on a wheel. They spin the wheel, and they're really good at making the wheel look like it actually stops somewhere without you going, okay, that just stopped. They made it stop. They're good at that.
Power of editing.
Yeah, I've always wondered. Well, no, it's live.
Well, camera work.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, they could have control of the wheel with electronics and make it stop on something.
Yeah.
Like they do on roulette wheels. They say they don't, but we all know that they do. I've always wondered though, and we know that wrestling is scripted to a degree, but there is a lot of improv in it, and
it's about the storytelling.
Yeah, and there's a lot of improv in it, and I wonder if when they spin the wheel, if maybe they don't know, because I think that would be kind of cool that they'd have to do whatever match. They're prepared for every match on there, but they don't know which one they're going to do until then. It's probably not that. I know we have an actual wrestler who was on here earlier talking about wrestling, and maybe he can clear the air on that. So, by the way, the Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp, I believe Julius Creed's going to win that match. Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller, I think it's Grayson Waller's turn to win. No one likes Grayson Waller because he is a great heel. Apollo Crews has never still found exactly his place, I don't think. All right, the next match is Spin the Wheel, Make a Deal, Weapons Wild match between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez is still way too raw. Cora Jade used to be skater girl, but everyone knew she couldn't skate. When she bring her skateboard out, and it was like an old fiberglass thin one like I had in like 1979. But she couldn't skate, so she's turned heel, and it's better for her. I think Cora Jade wins that match. All right, NXT North American Championship match, which is a 5-way ladder match. Watch a ladder match and tell me that doesn't hurt, because it hurts. And it's Carmelo Hayes, Oro Mensah, Wesley, Von Wagner, and Nathan Frazier. I'm going with Wesley in this. He's getting a push, and I think it's time for him to win. Rushing through these because we need to take another break. NXT Women's Championship match between Mandy Rose and Alba Fire. I'll tell you, Mandy Rose is one of my favorite interviews that I've ever got a chance to do because I was on Mark Ryan's show at the time, and Mark Ryan said he thought she was a ring girl. And if she was actually in studio, she would have whipped his butt because, he's not a fan of wrestling, and I don't care. She would have whipped his butt because she's been in fitness magazines, muscle magazines, and she would have tore him up, which a lot of us would have liked to have seen. So Mandy versus Alba Fire. Mandy's had the belt for a really long time. So I'm going to go with Alba Fire to win. I don't want her to, just because she's weird. But anyway. All right, NXT Championship triple threat match between Braun Breaker, JD McDonough, and Ilya Dragunov. Kevin Owens was down there the other night at the Go Home show, and he was hilarious talking about how weird JD McDonough is. His head is just too big for his body. You've seen people with their head is too big for it doesn't, you keep looking and going, there's something wrong with him, and I can't figure out, that's what it is. His head's way too big. Ilya Dragunov will practically kill himself to win a match. They usually have to take him out on an ambulance when it's done, and I believe they literally have to do that every time. I'm going to go with Ilya Dragunov to actually beat Braun Breaker because I think he's moving up. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we will finish up this hour. Don't forget, next hour, we are going to be doing an Oops, and we're going to talk to Tron about his album that he has coming out. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD, continuing live on all our streaming stuff. Scott, I get the disdain for fraternities, and I think national fraternities are so much worse. But I went to a smaller school, so the fraternity I was in was not, we didn't have national fraternities. There were 2 football fraternities. One of them used steroids, one of them didn't. I was in the one that didn't. And it was the year before drug testing started. So to get into the other one, you had to do a cycle of roids. It's like, I'm not doing that. And I seen some effects of people on steroids, and it was one RA had to jump out a second-story window because one of our football players went nuts on him and took a fire extinguisher and broke the bottom half of his door off and crawled in after him. And cut himself as he was going through, so there was blood all over the door and everything. Yeah, and dude jumped out the second-story window. I don't blame him.
Yeah, understandable.
That had to be fun.
Another one of those guys. We were doing walkthrough and accidentally punched him in the throat, and you could tell he was on steroids because he was all swollen. He like, I'm gonna get you. I mean, his voice was all high, and then I laughed. That laughed, and oh no. Tyson's high voice, you still look at him and go, oh my God, I'm going to die. Right. This guy was just like, he moved around like this. It's like, you ain't going to catch me. Wow. Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's crazy.
But what I'm talking about, though, Scott, had nothing to do with fraternity. That was just steroids. That was football.
I'll tell you what needs to be abolished. American cheese. American cheese.
How
it is
dare
not,
you? How dare
it is
you?
Not actually cheese. There, if you look at all American cheese at grocery stores, they do not say cheese. It is cheese product.
Hey, potted meat is like meat product, but it's still tasty. I mean, you know, Vienna sausages. Who knows what's in that? Who knows what's really in hot dogs? Although some of the chicken hot dogs have like chicken hearts and beaks and stuff in it.
Well, if you get the good hot dogs, there's actual good stuff.
Well, like
in
the
there,
Nathans and stuff like that. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but if it looks like cheese and it melts like cheese and it tastes like cheese, I'm okay.
Well, it's
long as
more
it's not,
so. It's like it's.
You know what my favorite cheese is? Velveeta, and just because it melts perfectly, and I don't care if it's not real cheese. It also has less calories. I mean, you know, that's.
American cheese is just really unhealthy.
What is your cheese of choice? We're high on cheese.
My
on this
favorite
program.
cheese is Monster cheese.
You mean Munster?
Yes.
Munster. Okay. I didn't mean to correct you there because there might actually be Monster cheese, but Munster cheese. Munster's got kind of a. I don't know that it's bitter, but it's got kind of a.
It's not bitter because I don't like bitter, but I usually put it on burgers.
You know, that reminds me, now that you're talking about cheese, I ate soup today, and all I smell is soup. Does anyone eat soup and not smell soup the rest of the day?
No.
Why is that? I mean, it could be the beard thing.
Yeah,
it could be.
Maybe.
Likely.
Maybe you got something to clean out your beard, maybe, yeah.
I agree with you, Mark. J.D. McDonough does look like a Game of Thrones villain. There's just something wrong with that dude. I mean, he's a great character, but he just looks weird. Yeah, I know I look weird too, but I don't look weird like him. I mean, that's an odd looking dude. All right, so I gotta tell you real quick. The close, start playing it at 48, 49. Okay. It's just music.
48, 49.
Bring it in a little low.
Okay.
This has music on it. No, it doesn't. Never mind. All right, welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo, Tron, and Matthew here. Tron bringing that music in strong, man. Got to bring it in a little bit lighter. We're training as we go, which you've seen me do before. I do like doing that, just putting someone behind the board who's got some work, but never actually trained on the show because it's like hands-on, but from a distance. Yeah. And you're doing a fine job. Much better than Tim ever did. I mean, and I hope he's listening right now since he's not here. So T2 and Cameron not here tonight, but they'll be back next week for the Halloween special. I already know what Cameron's going to be dressed up as. I know what I'm going to be dressed up as. I know what Tim says he's going to be dressed up as. We'll see. We don't know what Matthew's going to be yet, though. So if you have any suggestions as to what Matthew should dress up for the Halloween show, text us at 71307 or message us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or Twitch. Think I got everything there. I could have missed something. I don't know. So let us know what you think he should be for Halloween next week. Scott says, I work in a supermarket. All those fancy cheeses are insanely expensive. I can at least afford the American. There's that.
I mean, go to the deli and literally just get like a quarter pound, half a pound of sliced cheese. It's like $2.
All right. So if you were watching the stream, Matthew has said he hates American cheese. I don't think that's communistic. I mean, it could be. It could be socialistic. I don't know. It could be. It's probably not.
It's not real cheese. There is a reason that it is labeled as cheese product.
We like what we like, you know.
I'll eat it if there's nothing else, but I'm gonna avoid it.
You know, those potato chips taste like bacon, but they're not really bacon. But I'm okay. You know why? Because they taste like bacon.
You're eating bacon chips?
You've never had bacon chips
Never
before?
had bacon chips.
They're usually bacon cheddar. Are you okay with cheddar cheese?
I mean, no, I like cheddar,
Well,
but like I don't want to throw cheese over everything.
Why not?
Why not?
Well, one, I'm not a fan of that combination. Also, I just generally need to avoid cheese as much as I can.
Ah, there we go. Okay, because I was going to ask you. So we know now that see, this is kind of a problem for the show. If you've listened to this show for the over 8 years that we've been on, you know that we have a great love of cheese here. We started out doing the show, actually doing a couple segments on cheese itself.
I've heard about this.
Yes, and cheese.com, check it out. They're not affiliated, but there actually is a cheese.com. You go there, and it's all in alphabetical order, just about any cheese you can think of. And not only does it have the cheeses, it has how it was made, where it was made, and what it goes well with. And the reason why we know so much about cheese, because usually we'll have a story where there's cursing in it, which you can't do on the air. I don't do that anyway, but you can't do it on the air. So we usually replace those stories with a kind of cheese so we can educate everyone as to, you know, a certain kind of cheese. Because maybe you're thinking, you know, I need something for my Halloween party, some kind of cheese. What would be a good fancy cheese that no one had ever heard of before? And so we can help you out there. If not, you know, go to cheese.com. And if you are someone who's representing cheese.com, I'm your guy. You know, I could advertise for you. I'm just saying. I'll be down for that. So when did your great hate for American cheese happen?
It was in college, actually. So it stemmed from a buddy of mine. His dad was a professional chef, and he worked in kitchens as well growing up. And so I learned a lot about cooking from him. And I also learned a few disdains for different types of foods and cooking practices from him as well. And American cheese is one of those.
Wow. Scott says some of the cheeses are up to $18 a pound. I don't need cheese that much.
Cheese? What kind of cheeses are you looking at?
Well, there's some fancy cheeses.
I mean,
I
get there's some fancy cheeses.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the fancy cheeses. I'm talking about like cheddar and Munster and Swiss and stuff like that. Basic stuff that's still good. Yeah. For the more common use.
All right. Well, all I can say is there ain't nothing like a bologna sandwich with some American cheese on it. Give me some music.
I was going to say, I feel like we're feeling a little quiet here.
Yeah, we were a little bit quiet. I had to look over there. You're supposed to fill in for me right there, Matthew. Gosh, it's all your fault.
Oh, man. I can't believe that I missed the cue that I wasn't ready for.
You are professional. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Tron's music, and we're going to do an oops and all kinds of stuff. You listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD. All right, so... Okay, bring up Fox. You good? You can go ahead and bring it up. Now the next one, you gotta make sure you get it at the top of the next hour because it goes into automation afterwards. Yeah. And
that would be 58.49 again.
all right, we're going to talk about your music in segment 2 and segment 1. I want to do oops. So have the oops intro over in channel 3. There you go, Scott. Bologna and ham with Swiss and American was my dinner last night. What kind of bread did you use, though? And did you toast it?
So we're doing a comeback with.
We'll play the intro. I'll reset the show, and then I will ask for the oops intro. Now, someone mentioned Clemson earlier. Congratulations to your team coming back. All the Cade lovers are going crazy. Even though all I did was basically just come in and hand the ball off. That's all he did. And he's getting all his credit. I mean, good for you for them winning, but toasted wheat roll.
In unison on that.
Yes, I know. And I'm hungry for a sandwich. I mean, you mean a sandwich. Haven't looked, but I'm sure I did horrible on my picks today. Because I made the mistake of saying that my Ohio State Buckeyes wouldn't score, wouldn't cover when they were plus 30 or minus 30 or whatever. And then they scored like 40-something points on Iowa. I knew they were going to win. They just hadn't won by that much all year long.
I need to fire this. I need to fire this, right?
You do, but not till 5 after. So you got a couple minutes.
It's 5 minutes every time.
Ooh, mayo and spicy brown mustard. I'm guessing that Matthew wouldn't like the mixture of mayo and spicy brown mustard.
I don't like any three of those things: spicy, mayo, or mustard.
Oh wow! You got to get one at least.
No, I cannot handle spicy food, and I just generally don't like most condiments.
Yeah, I'm not a big mustard guy, but if it's mixed with the right kind of thing, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I don't like mayonnaise.
See,
Not
I'm good
a lot
with
of
mayonnaise,
people
too. You gotta
like
be careful
mayo.
around here because the Dukes people they're cult like and they will come after you. And because the plant's down the road, and you know, my daddy worked at Dukes, and so they get pretty angry about it.
It's got to be on, for me. It's got to be on certain stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But just
And it doesn't need to be heavy.
at all.
Yeah, just enough to add a little bit of a taste to it. Matthew, what do you like on your pizza?
I like pepperoni and sausage usually. That's what
Okay.
I normally get.
Pineapple. You okay with pineapple?
No, it's disgusting.
Okay. I kind of figured, but I just thought, even with ham, pineapple and ham, you're just not into the Hawaiian pizza.
No,
So you don't like Hawaii.
it was a mistake. Pineapple on pizza was humanity's greatest mistake.
What about a barbecue chicken pizza?
That sounds not as bad, but still pretty bad. A slightly lesser mistake, but a mistake nonetheless.
So definitely not anchovies.
I think anchovies in general are kind of gross, so no.
I've tried them a couple times, because everyone hated them, and I wanted to see if it was nasty as they said, and it was like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, so Cameron is going to be here by 8:30 to be on the last half hour of the show.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just letting you know, because if when he gets here, if you could go down and let him in,
Yeah.
I guess I could go get him some headphones. Scott says, favorite pizza toppings: meat, and meat. Push it.
Meat's
Did you
pretty
push
good.
it? Can't hear it. Oh. Probably. Is it low or is it? Nah, you probably have the studio pot kind of low. That's why.
I understand that. The times that I've run the board, I keep it low because I don't like super loud stuff. Enough to make out everything.
But I keep it at a level where if I can't hear it, then I know something's on that shouldn't be on.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to do that. Just where I want it.
Find your spot, and then if it's not there, then you go, okay, let me look at the board and figure out why I can't hear it. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo here along with Tron and Matthew. And we might have a special guest rolling in here in the next 15 minutes or so. We'll see if he makes it in time.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Hope so. I mean, good for him because we need to find out what was up with the party, you know.
Yeah.
We know all the details of the party. In this,
All the gossip.
yes, in this hour, we're going to get to an oops. Tron's going to talk to us about his music. We're also going to do some video games and Nerd Roundtable. Yeah, we're going to squeeze all that in. We're not going to squeeze all that. We're going to try, though. I mean, because, you know, trying is what you should do. Speaking of trying, I'm going to try to tell you and justify how amazing it's going to be when Borderlands grand opening happens in just a couple weeks. All right, 3 weeks, but
Not much justification needed.
No.
We all know it's going to be awesome.
it is going to be awesome. So Borderlands grand opening for their brand new store that we've been talking about forever. It seems like that every time Rob Young is on the show, people are asking, hey, when's the new store coming? When's the new store coming? And he wishes it was a couple years ago, but it wasn't. But it's going to be November 12th, and it's going to be at 410 South Pleasantburg Drive. You know where Pleasantburg is? We're going to be able to go there. We're going to be able to enjoy a store that's over 3 times the size of the store he has now. So I cannot wait. I can't wait to see how everything is organized. I've seen pictures. You show me pictures of when they stripped the floors and put in the new stuff and everything. So I've seen it through pictures gradually get to the degree where it is, but it's not the same as being able to go in there and hang out and buy stuff. And so I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. And we're going to be able to do that on November 12th. So keep that in
Is
mind.
their grand opening hours going to be the same as their regular hours?
You know, I wish that I could say that I know that. I believe so. So I don't want to say for sure, but I believe so.
Okay.
Just saw a wonderful score up there on the screen that South Carolina, I believe, is winning 17-3 over Texas A&M. This pleases me. So check that out. Also, remember, next week we are doing our Halloween show. So if you have any Halloween stories, you can text them to us or email them to us, and we will try to read them. We don't usually take phone calls because people get weird on Saturday night. And the only weird that's allowed to happen here is us. You know, so there's that. And but you never know. I might open the phone lines up next week. I might do that. We get some
That's
scary
dangerous.
stories.
If we want to limit our weird, I'm already on the show.
We have reached our quota, but you know.
Maxed out.
All right. So speaking of weird, every once in a while, every week if we can, we like to do a little thing called oops.
Upside your head, say oops upside your head. Say oops upside your head. Say oops upside your head.
Nobody can take that much and still live.
That's cray-cray.
Is everybody in this town on drugs?
This is ridiculous.
All right. So usually oops has to do with, you know, someone being arrested. I got 2 for you, and they're not necessarily that. One of them I just think is kind of funny, and the other one is kind of creepy. So let's start with the funny first. I used to be into rap a bunch back in the day when it first came out because I'm old. Believe it or not, I listened to NWA. I listened to Too Short. One of my favorite bands was UTFO. You probably never even heard of them before. But then I got out of that phase and went into something else. So I'm not up on the latest dudes in rap. So I don't know if this guy's famous or not. You might know. Do you know who Young Jock is? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Young Jock did something. He accidentally sent $1,800 to the wrong Zelle account. So, but then, you know, I mean, if you know who he is, chances are he makes money. I'm guessing he makes money.
He was popular in the early 2000s, but he's not that guy now.
Oh, okay. So the 1,800 might mean a little bit more to him. Okay, so Young Jock accidentally sent $1,800 of his hard-earned money to the wrong Zelle account, and social media showed him no mercy. So what he did is, all right, so he tried to get a hold of the person on that number, and it's like, please send me the money back because I didn't mean to send that to you. And they didn't respond. What they did, they blocked his number.
Oh.
So what he did, because he thought that, here's what I'll do. I'm going to dox you. Now, I understand what doxing is because I had to look it up because I'm old. But no, I've heard of doxing before. I thought I knew what it was. It's one of those things where, I know what that is. And you're not completely sure, but you
it's
just
very
want everyone
illegal.
to think. But I get what it. So he put their number out on social media and asked everybody to bombard this person with messages and phone calls to get them to send the money back. Instead, social media does what it does. They turned on young Jock and just made fun of him.
It's a monster.
Yeah.
It's a monster.
You don't do that. I mean, you think all these people are on your side till you do something stupid, and then they're not on your side. They're going to make fun of you, and that's what they did. So he hasn't got his money back. And I guess that person who got the $1,800, if they sued him for putting their number out there, then they'd have to give the $1,800 back.
Right.
So I just think it's something, you just change your number.
Yep.
So text line 71307 or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. Someone sells you $1,800. What you doing with it? Are you going, well, this isn't mine. I don't know why I got this. I should send this back to the person. Or are you putting it in the bank and going out to eat tonight? Tron, what you doing? I mean, you could say, listen, the best thing to say is, well, I'm an honest person. And, I thought it was a gift. I mean, because if you don't know where it's coming from, I just like.
If it just pops in my account and I don't know where it's coming from, I'm probably thinking like, who gave me this? I'm taking it.
It's like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Who has my number?
Matthew.
Well, you see, I'm what's known as a very, very honest, very down-to-earth person. So naturally what I'm going to do is the right thing. I'm going to pocket the money and I'm going to put it in my savings because, man, I could really use $1,800 right now.
Think of the video games you can buy with that. And so, that'll get you a system. If you can find one.
That's a graphics card update right there.
There you go.
That's an upgrade right there.
There it is. I think if you're someone who gets money zelled to you all the time, you probably wouldn't even think it was that big of a deal. You'd be like, okay, I must have forgot about this, and someone just sent it to me. The right thing to do is probably to send it back, but I think most people probably wouldn't. No. And I hate that I don't know as I think less of people. I think it's more of a thinking what I said. It's like, oh, man, someone sent me some money. Cool.
Yep.
Oh,
They didn't attach their name to it. This must be a gift.
Yeah.
So never try to use social media to help you because it's not going to, especially Twitter, because Twitter's just mean.
It's a beast.
I admit that I use the Twitter to troll like everybody else. So it is the best place to do it, and the only way to survive is to troll like everyone else does. All right, something else happened though. This is the total opposite. So landscapers doing work at a multi-million-dollar home in North California on Thursday made a surprising discovery. Matthew, what do you think they found?
Well, I'm looking at the story right now, so I'm not the person to ask.
Tag on it. See, that's what I get. I didn't used to send all the prep to everybody, but it's too easy to do right now. I'm guessing Tron didn't look at the prep.
I didn't get a chance to.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not thinking. Tim never looks either. It's Matthew's he's a news guy, man. He's
I like to know what we're going to be talking about so I can be prepared.
I used to back in the day of the poster behind me with Chris and Patrick and Zach and all those guys. I would not tell them what it was. I would give them the outline and I would code things in a way where there's no way they could look at it and go, what is this? It was more of a reminder to me to tell me what it was, because there's a thing in radio called killing the bit, and some people overthink, and when they overthink, they kill the bit. And it also takes away some spontaneity and takes away some surprise, and that's part of the fun, especially if you work with people for a long period of time. You have in your mind how you think they're going to react when you do something. Yep. And so eventually I just had to stop. I couldn't let them know what we were talking about because Chris is a notorious overthinker. And it's not like he would kill the bit on purpose, maybe sometimes, but he would overthink to a degree that it would upset me because I had it all planned out, and then that happened. It's like, oh man. So anyway, let me just go ahead and tell you what these landscapers found. They found an entire car buried in a yard.
A car?
Yeah, an entire car was buried in this yard.
Of course, as you would do.
Police believe the vehicle, which was found 5 feet underground in Atherton, was buried back in the 1990s. Although police dogs alerted investigators that human remains were present, as of late Friday morning, none have been recovered, says Atherton Police Commander Daniel Larson. Adding to the mystery is the fact that investigators found several bags of unused concrete inside the car.
I was gonna guess that it was a body.
It's kind of, it sounds like a mob hit.
Yeah.
Or
Honestly.
what it sounds like my dude was on his way to do a mob hit. They found out they were coming to off them, and they took care of the guy. The guy, the guy that's in every mobster movie that goes in and makes the cement shoes. This guy was the shoemaker. He got before he could make the shoes. That's what it looks like to me. The current homeowners who police believe purchased the house after the car was buried are not under investigation.
Wow.
So you hear about this stuff all buried an entire car. How do you bury a car in your yard and no one notices? But
I have no idea.
It's a multi-million-dollar property, so chances are this was an estate. That's
a good point.
Yeah. So, and most of those houses are on a ton of property.
Yes.
So, and they're back behind gated walls and things like that, to where if you heard like construction equipment or something, you probably wouldn't think anything of it. So they buried someone in their yard.
That's crazy.
I'm just curious about if this was a famous person who sold this.
Yeah.
You're going to find out
That's
something
my
like
question.
that.
My
Yeah.
other question is this going to end up in my national news
Yeah,
feed?
because they don't mention who used to own the home.
No.
So
If this turns into an investigation that actually pulls something up, I can't wait to see about this, because that's going to be interesting to hear about.
Chris on the stream says, turns out previous owner did time for attempted murder and other stuff. He's dead now.
He's dead.
Yes, he is. He's probably dead now. The fact is, I mean, it's weird that the dog smelled remains but couldn't find it. I mean,
Yeah.
so maybe this was a vehicle that they used to transport bodies. Would
it still have? Well, I mean, I guess trapped under there, it would hold the smell.
Well, the other thing is, if the vehicle was used to transport a lot of bodies over time,
it would definitely pick up the smell a lot more.
Yeah, you're going to get some of that.
But I mean, also, if it was buried in the 90s, it's been there for 20 to 30 years.
Yeah. So
So-
the statutes of limitations never run out on murder.
No,
but
I was more talking about with the smell. I don't know how long a smell like that would linger, even if it's been there for a while.
Something triggered the dogs. It's just really weird
Yeah.
that something triggered the dogs. All right, we're going to take a break. We come back, we're going to talk about Tron's music, because I'm very interested. I actually listened to some of it earlier today. You listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD.
Years before the home or neighborhood was ever built. I don't know when it would have been built.
It would have to, I don't know. I don't know.
They don't really
It's
specify
like,
in the story there. So
hey, Joey, come here. Joey, there's something down here. It's a car.
it's a car.
It's a whole car.
The whole car down
And
here.
it doesn't say that the car was mangled or anything. I'm picturing it in pristine condition.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
The dirt and clay, it acted as a preservative. Incredible. It's vintage.
You're right, Scott. The car could have been buried before the neighborhood was ever built. But
Possible.
it's a $1 million property. So
Well, nobody was going to dig that deep.
yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't that deep. So they put the car in there, they landscaped it, dropped some sod on it, no one even knew.
that is great.
Or possibly the house is now haunted.
Ooh.
Could be. Maybe the body's buried in the walls inside the mansion
And this happened in North California?
in California. Yep.
Part of the cartel, maybe?
Could be. Could be. I didn't think about that. Mob's a mob. It's still the same thing. What has happened to me?
I don't know. You've been missing those every
I
time
know.
lately.
I went like months and didn't miss one of them.
Shooting slump.
I know I'm throwing too light. I know that's what I'm doing. I thought he would be here by now, but he's not.
Nope.
Where's my? I think either you missed some stories or I folded it. Oh, well, I remember what the stories were. Just realized my forehead's back to being shiny. Shiny forehead. That's a good point, Scott. Scott says in California, $1 million property could be less than a half acre. It could be.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out in my mind how you could hide burying a car. I just think I'm picturing, it's the house is off the road a little bit, and yeah.
Definitely in an undeveloped area at some point.
I mean, where I live, you could probably get away with something like that, I guess. But I live out in the middle of the woods. And no, I don't have anything buried that I'm aware of. Just because you live on a compound doesn't mean you do compound-like things.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably all kinds of things buried in Lawrence County, though. So I've been asked to ask Tron if he's ever seen Princess Bride before.
I have not.
Okay, all right. So that's
That I know of.
That's two people. That it
This
had
is something that
it had
needs to be
Andre the Giant
rectified.
in it.
Maybe.
There was sword fighting. There was the Men in Black, the Man in Black, not the Men in Black. That's two different things. Was in it. It's okay.
don't remember.
It's all right. See, we were all hoping that you had, so we could just slam Tim for it even further.
Even harder than we already do.
Yeah. I suggest you watch it though. It's a good movie. All right. So
Sounds interesting.
So I noticed earlier today that Tron had thrown up a tweet talking about a forthcoming album in November, and I was not aware that he did music because I haven't got to work with him yet. Even though he's been here, this is one of those weird times where I haven't trained him at all, and usually I do it first and then hand the trainees off to other people. But because of the way his work schedule is, wasn't able to do that. So when I found that out, I was like, oh, that's cool. And it's like, okay, if he's got one coming out, maybe he's already got music on Spotify, which he did. So I went and listened to it, and I really enjoyed it, especially the instrumentals. I was not prepared for that. I don't know, because the first one I listened to had rap on, so I expect everything to be rap, and then the instrumentals. I was like, man, this is really good. I really like this. So I know that you went to Full Sail, just like Tim went to Full Sail. I went to a school called Recording Workshop, which is similar to Full Sail, except it's like accelerated. So yeah, so you're doing 12 hours of stuff instead of a couple hours here, a couple hours there. I was recording bands the first day there. Oh, wow. So
I wish.
yeah, so it was. Bands were not that good, but it's fine because it's in Chillicothe, Ohio. So they had a rotation of bands that would come through. Everyone in the area would know, hey, if you come and work with the students, you get your project done for free, right? Which is a good move.
Great. Yeah,
it really is. So I got to do a ton of stuff there, and then we covered radio for like a half hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So And now I've been in radio for 25 years.
That's awesome.
You know, everything worked out really good as far as that goes. So when did you start getting into music?
Oh, when I was 12. I was 12 years old, and that was some years ago. I signed with my first label, independent label, at 15.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah.
As a producer. And then I wanted to get in front of the mic, so I learned how to rap. And then my mom, who's passed now, has always told me you should sing. So then I learned how to sing. And then I had a cousin that signed me. He went to Full Sail, and he encouraged me to go to Full Sail, and then I learned everything behind the board.
So I think that adds something to it, especially if you're a recording artist of whatever genre, knowing how to do everything. So you can, I mean, when someone's mixing something, you can say, hey, can you bring this up here? I don't like the sound of this particular drum or however it is. I think that really helps a big deal. So how many albums have you had out, or is it just singles?
I have a bunch of singles out now. I'm starting to put albums out now because I've always been in groups, and we've opened up for like people from Pastor Troy to Ludacris to just different rappers, just like home openers. And then I finally like broke out because my mom would always say, you need to do one by yourself, do it by yourself. And when she passed, I hate I did it when she passed, but I dedicated that album to her. So that's my first album. And then after that, I've been putting out singles.
All right. So what's this album coming up? What's it called?
It's called Music Beyond the Algorithm.
And what people who haven't heard your stuff, what style would you say you have? I mean,
it's more of an Outkast
okay.
style, I would say. That's my biggest influence is Andre 3000, Outkast, Dungeon Family. A little bit of Tupac just for the, how he writes, about society and puts stories together. But yeah, it's more of a smooth. It's definitely not what you're hearing on the radio now.
All right. So is this positive? Is it hardcore? What is it?
It's pretty positive. It's pretty positive. Yeah, it's more. I like authentic, like old school '90s hip hop. Back when you had the Nas's and the Jay-Z's and
I've had this discussion with some people about rap in general. I just don't like rap. All they talk about is this, but there are some positive rappers out there, especially if you're into Christian rap, like Lecrae,
yes.
DC Talk back in the day before they, and still, some of those guys are still doing stuff like that. Was it KRS-One? Mm-hmm. There's a guy named John Rubin that I really liked. So I was into a bunch of that stuff for a while. Still have a bunch of it on Spotify, especially Lecrae at the time because he was big time somewhere else, and then I'm guessing he's still Christian.
He is.
And,
I think he bounces back.
And his stuff,
it's still positive.
You can cross over and be positive and let people know that you can have a positive message. It doesn't have to all be about sex, drugs, and getting arrested and all that kind of stuff. It can be about the everyday life and how you overcome situations that you're in.
You don't see it much in the mainstream because that's what mainstream pushes a lot. And that's kind of why I named it Beyond the Algorithms, because it's music beyond that. It's back to music, it's back to the positive side of hip hop, just kind of.
So as far as the music aspect, are you playing instruments or you got somebody else coming in to do?
I'm playing instruments.
Okay, what you playing?
I play keys, trumpet, and drums. And I do a lot of my vocals, singing.
It's amazing how many horn players we have in this building. Because especially on our brother station, the Fan Upstate, Rob Brown plays trombone, and so does Mark Ryan.
Oh, wow.
So I have this dream. It's a weird dream because I do stuff like this. All right, so every year we do a thing called Christmas Karaoke Special here on Upstate Pulse. And how that started is one year we had to work on Christmas Eve. Normally we have music that plays for the entire 24 hours, but that year we didn't have it. And the program director at the time, Bob McLean's like, listen, you need to do the show. And I'm like, all right. So I talked to the guys, like, we have to do the show. Are you okay with it? This is what I want to do. So what we ended up doing is taking secular Christmas carols, so nothing Christian, just secular stuff, like Deck the Halls and stuff like that, and doing them in different voices. So, and we took requests, and the very first one we did, we stuck my phone up in the corner up there, and that was our first full broadcast online, was doing it that way, and the thing held out till like the last 10 minutes. And we were a 3-hour show then. So we've been adding to it every year. We've developed some things, and I'm working on it right now for what we're going to do coming up in a couple months. But last year I had an idea to actually do a serious song with live guitars, because Tim had joined the show, and Rob Brown is also in a cover band and plays guitar. So they made something that would convert the guitars to work on these boards, because we used to have a way to plug in, and they took those away. So they made some things that converted the signal. And so we had Tim and Rob playing the guitar, and Chris and I sang God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. And we did that live on the air. And it was so cool. And then I keep hearing about all these horn players. I would love, and I know it probably can't happen, because it's not like guitars where you can get in and one guy can go, okay, I got this.
Right.
I think horns are different. Yeah. But I would love to have a horn section just on one song, just to see if engineering can come up with something to mic them. I mean, you went to school for. I know how to mic something in the studio, but in here, how would you mic? I mean, they're pretty loud anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But the way these mics are, they're not. I mean, I don't know.
Probably put us in the corner and just have us project at one mic.
I'm just asking if you'd be interested. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
That might be fun.
I mean, might be fun. It would definitely be different. So how many songs are going to be on your project?
13.
13. Cool.
I was shooting for 12, but I found one that I did like 2 years ago. I was like, hey, I never put that out. Let's just throw this on this upcoming project. So.
I don't know if you had the problem that I had when we put out, 3 albums. And when you do that, I mean, trying to narrow things down, and it's a lot of, I would add a song and we would start playing the song, we'd really like it, and then have to go, okay, we've got these old songs that we never put down, maybe I should put this in here too. And then it's got to have the right flow within the entire project. And so is there anything that you went, oh, I want this in there, but it doesn't fit? Did you have anything like that?
No, because usually when I do, I'm an old school guy. So when I do albums, I do like concept albums. I like albums to take you on a journey.
Absolutely.
Like I always tell people, like when I'm listening to your music, it's like I'm getting in the car, take me somewhere. I like the curves and the, So when I do albums, I concept them, think them out. It's just that one song actually fit what I was doing. I was like, oh, okay, this is a different curve that I can throw in here, and it'll fit perfect.
Well, it's so cool. I'm glad we got to talk to you about it.
Awesome.
I'm glad Tim wasn't here, because he doesn't deserve to be here to talk to you about it. So I hope he enjoys his money. We're going to, again, tell everybody when it comes out, what it's called, and where they can find it.
It's called Music Beyond the Algorithms. It drops Black Friday for November 25th. You can pre-order it November the 1st.
All right, cool. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, someone has arrived, and we'll see if Matthew will go down and let them in. And we'll come back and finish up this last half hour. You listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD. I wish we could have played some of the music. You still got a chance to try if you want, but I think we're going to get that echo because of having to run StreamYard.
Yeah, that's true.
It will loop it, and it won't do the song justice.
It'd be fine.
And Chris and I, from time to time, usually like once every 3 months, we will do when he was on there, would do a song live, which makes it a lot more. We did Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen with a bunch of different voices.
Have a laptop with you or anything?
Yeah, he doesn't get to be on. He can get it off of your camera. How do you got a face?
Literally, I can just turn this a little bit more.
Yeah.
And get there.
I know you've seen him. Tron, this is Cameron, my son. Cameron, this is Tron. How's the show been so far? Excellent. He will be on the one platform.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Oh, come back with Nerd Roundtable. Yeah, go ahead and take it up. I got it.
That's the yellow one, right?
I believe so.
This first one.
Yeah, click on it and put it over there and we'll see.
Check.
Yeah, it is. That's it.
I took so many turns to get here. I had no idea where I was until I saw Subway going that way. I thought I saw like the top golf things and stuff like that. I had never gone that way before.
Well, you already got a listener, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So take out the join.
Yeah. Yeah, Trey says there's a song KRS-One did with T-Bone that I will play every once in a while. Yeah, I have a lot of that stuff, a lot of the Christian rap stuff in my rotation in Spotify.
There was this one rap group, gospel rap group called the Gospel Gangsters.
I've heard of them. I also like Grits. Have you heard Grits?
I have Grits.
I love Grits. Grits is awesome.
Yeah.
What was that one music video that I always played all the time on
You feel it, she feel it, we feel it, and on and on. And on.
And on and on we
I
go.
forget what it's.
Oh man, tell Trey thanks. Tell Trey thanks.
Well, you can tell him thanks.
Oh, thanks, Trey.
He can hear you. All right, it's Nerd Roundtable. Before we get into that, we continue the discussion about music off the air. And Trey says, I just listened to Jesus Knows I'm Right and found out the bass in my Raycon earbuds are excellent. I really liked it. And that's one of the songs that Tron put out there on Spotify. So check it out. But you didn't even say I don't think you said where to look for your stuff on Spotify.
It's under Sir Tron the Great. That is the name on Spotify. Well, it's on all platforms. So,
Yeah, don't. I mean, you sound modest. Sir Tron the Great.
Sir
is
Tron the Great.
It's a cool name. Don't worry. Speaking of the
That's
in it-
gravitas.
Yeah,
to
it does. By the way, that voice you're hearing, yes, Cameron is here.
I stopped by because I wandered out of the wilderness.
Bring him down a little bit because he's a little excited.
Bring him down.
Yes,
If
he's
you're
a
on
little
the stream,
excitable.
you can kind of see him a little bit behind my mic arm.
I want to point something out as we get into it because this is a roundtable discussion. Some people have asked why I call myself the Lonzo, and I want to point out first of all that I was doing it before Megan or Adonis or any of those people because I'm old. Okay, I'm a grandpa, so I was doing it before those people were even born. And here's the reason why: because 25 years ago, I moved to South Carolina, and for some reason, and it may have nothing to do with the region, they can't get that my name is Lonzo with an L. It's on my birth certificate. There's no A in there, okay? There's no A. It's not Alonzo. It's not Alonzo. It's not any of that. So finally, I have to tell people I'm not Alonzo. I'm not Alonzo. I'm the Lonzo. Because, and I don't know why the A bothers me. I think it bothers me in a Chris kind of way. I want you to be right, and you're not right when you put an A on my name. And there are videos of this, so I could prove that I had it before it blew up.
Didn't you do this on the air too, as a response to
Yeah,
somebody?
it was the very first time I did, and I forget what show it was on because I've been on 10,000 of them. But yeah, it's just
Your illustrious career.
so if you ever hear me or see me I still got the terror shell up there. That's funny. I just realized I still got that up there.
I thought you were doing that as a bit.
Yeah, well, I've been meaning to change it, but it's fine. She could use the bump, and she can thank me later. She can thank me later. So that's the reason why if you ever hear me say the Alonzo, it's because of that. To the point, I met Alonzo once though. We were doing Mark Ryan and I were doing a live remote. The guy walked up and said, "Hey, I'm Alonzo."
Oh, wow.
And because it was such a bit that it was actually his name. He was also an Elvis impersonator.
Did you reply with Alonzo?
I did not, but I thought it. So he walked up and he did that, and then he left, and we're doing the live remote. And next thing you know, he comes out in an Elvis wig and starts singing Elvis.
Oh, wow.
It was an Elvis
Oh, wow.
impersonator, and Mark Ryan was trying to do a live read for a commercial, and he's like, "How am I supposed to do this?" Like, dude, it's just Elvis. Do it. And the whole time, Elvis is just singing toward it. It was great. It was wonderful.
That's awesome.
So I will always remember the one Alonzo that I've met for that. All right, Cameron was at a party, dude. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Okay. How was the food?
Food was excellent. My buddy is a very, very good cook. Him and his wife prepared a good spread. I brought jalapeno poppers. They were a good hit. I still got a few. I forgot to bring them up here.
That's all right. Speaking of spreads, since we're in the round table, let's talk about some butter.
Butter?
Let's talk about some hot butter or some cold butter. The reason why I'm talking about butter, and it's not that K-pop single, which I've actually heard before, and it's not too bad. Don't tell anyone that I said that.
It secretly slaps?
Yes, it's secretly slap can mean something totally different.
I was never going to take it that way. How dare you, sir?
butter, there is a shortage of butter. There's going to be a shortage of butter. So I'm not saying go out and buy your butter now, but you might want to go out and buy your butter now.
I don't want to live in this world anymore.
How is there a shortage?
Because of a shortage of cows. They're expecting a shortage of butter for the holiday season, whatever that is. So for Christmas, when people do a lot of baking with a lot of butter, there's not going to be as much butter around. Butter is already like tripled in price. I don't know how long butter actually keeps. I think it keeps for a
Pretty good while, I
good
think.
amount of time. So go out and buy you a tubbo and put it in your fridge if you want to make some cakes and pies and whatever else. Also, when there was another butter story, it's just weird. I mean, when butter's hitting, it's hitting. There are now there's a trend on TikTok. I don't know if it started in China or not, but called butter boards. Have you seen butter boards? Supposedly, butter boards are
I
going.
got a very different image of that. But keep
Butter
going.
boards are overtaking charcuterie boards. So what it is they put. It's a fun word, man. It just have you ever said?
Charcuterie is just a
I've
fun
never
thing
even
to
heard
say.
of that
Have
before.
we'll say charcuterie on the air.
Charcuterie.
There we go. See, when he says it's wicked, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It
is.
sounds so cool.
Could you
It's-
say it one more time?
Charcuterie.
Oh wow. That's
Deeper.
All right, Tron. Do you know what a charcuterie board is?
I do not know what
A charcuterie board is a board with a bunch of cold cuts or
With
or
a fine
cheeses.
selection of meats.
Yes, it may
Oh,
even
okay.
have some American cheese on it, which means that's why Matthew would never look at a
would not like
charcuterie
that.
board.
Tisk, tisk.
All right, so a butter board, you can look it up if you want. Butter boards, they like spread butter all over the board, and it's like a baking board or or a cutting board.
Are we talking
type
like
thing.
in squares or are we talking on just smear?
Oh no, it's like mountainous. Might be the reason why we're having a butter shortage because it's hitting on TikTok
All these
right now.
people
Apparently,
just buying so much butter boards.
so you spread the butter out and make it's lumpy, bumpy best in places, and you put like pieces of bread in it and other things that you would spread butter on. And apparently, it's a big deal right now.
Why?
I guess
You know what? My question is answered immediately by the fact that it's the internet.
well, it's TikTok also.
Yeah,
It's TikTok.
It's
Yeah.
the internet and it's TikTok. So if it's stupid, it's gonna happen.
All right, TikTok's the one thing we're not on because I just we're on too many things, and it takes me forever to say what all we're on. So I don't want to add TikTok to it. Tron, you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok.
So you need to look up butter boards when you get a chance and see if you're into it. But if you are, it's going to be expensive because there's a butter shortage. All right, my wife has chimed in. Yes, it can have all different kinds of boards: fruit, olive, crackers, and cheeses. She's talking about charcuterie. She really likes that. She struggles a little bit with saying the name, but she loves the charcuterie. Before we get to the next thing, which I want to talk about a sinkhole and what they found in the sinkhole, Cameron, give your review of Black Adam really quick.
Oh, all right. I thought Black Adam was really good. It was one of those things of I was kind of skeptical at first because they were doing the whole narration thing over the beginning, a lot of exposition. I feel like it really would have benefited the few things that would have been a good surprise, in my opinion, could have been saved if the trailers were a little bit more ambiguous. I thought the Justice Society of America was really good. Dr. Fate's effects were really awesome. Carter Hall was awesome. I liked the rapport between Adam Smasher and I cannot remember for the life of me the Whirlwind Girl.
Cyclone.
Yeah, he and Cyclone got along really well. There was enough balance between humor and action. I thought The Rock did a very good job of being Black Adam because he was scary in some parts, and he also had a few moments of levity. So they're towing the more anti-hero thing. Oh no, that was a good movie.
All right, I just want to point out that Cameron must have been to a very educational party because he's not coming in talking street or anything. He's coming in using all those big words. So everybody there was well educated, right?
Well, it was a lot of work friends, so yes.
Yes. Okay. Geologists and engineers and
I work
and
with
and the
nothing but
like.
scientists.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
mean,
I know. We're nerdy here, but you come in and start using.
also, I do that just sometimes because
Okay. I don't know. If it was
you act like I talk like some uneducated rube half the time.
that would be me. So anyway, all right. So scientists, speaking of smart people, have discovered a hidden ancient forest in a sinkhole. It's in China. So according to Xinhua News, I believe I pronounced that correctly, the prodigious pit was housing a well-preserved primitive forest filled with ancient trees as tall as 130 feet, serving as a potential habitat for undiscovered species. A cave exploration team abseiled down. Why not repelled? I never heard abseiled. Have you heard of abseiled before? Anybody?
I'm just
think so,
imagining
no.
a really ripped seal.
Yeah. Well,
Like a seal with like a six-pack.
That seal is
He decided to
swole,
fight
man.
the sharks that day.
So they abseiled down and trekked for several hours to reach the bottom of the sinkhole on May 6th. China Global Television Network posted a video on Twitter showing highlights from their expedition to the tree-covered terrain where they found dense shade plants coming up to their shoulders and 3 caves hidden in the walls of the site. So everyone who
Did
thinks
they find King Kong?
that's one of the things that was in the title. Everyone who thinks that we've found everything on Earth, not true. We have not found everything. They're discovering things all the time, and apparently in China they find a lot of these things.
They still ain't found Atlantis.
Well, could be in a sinkhole. And by the way, Bigfoot could actually be in that sinkhole. Yeah, I mean they're down there. They're caves that they haven't
We've
explored.
explored space more than we've explored the depths of our oceans. So,
Right.
I mean,
Right, absolutely.
You were talking about the sinkhole. It reminds me of the movie Ten Rings with the Marvel movie.
Yeah.
When I could just picture like Woods moving.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Shang-Chi. Yeah, it could be absolutely like that.
Huh. That would be freaky.
Oh, it would. All right, so we need to take a break.
I would nope my way out of there.
When we come back, we're going to hit the lightning round, squeeze in as many things as we can. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on 106.3 WORD.
It's also one of those things if you see the woods moving like that, you get a whole bunch of clearing equipment.
My own mic.
It's all right. It's all right because you hit the.
One instead of
It's okay. It's all right. See, here's the problem though. Turn up the main studio.
oh no, you're fine. I was just getting
throws
out of
me
the way
off
so
if
you
I
can
can't
get
hear it
into the
enough.
space of it.
This throws people off when you're producing and talking at the same time because when you get into the conversation, you forget what you're doing. So you got to reach a level where you always got to remember the board comes first, and remember to focus on the board. It's definitely a lot harder for me because sometimes I have to do. Well, you've seen me do some of that. It will come with time. So don't worry about it too much. Just work on getting better with it.
Yep.
All right, so get rid of that rejoin. All right, get rid of the trash can. You don't need music coming back. You don't need that at all. Right? Put lightning.
It's one of those things of do we talk? Do we not talk?
Hello, stream. It's me, Matthew. the handsome one talking. I don't know what else to talk about.
I was about to say I was going to build on that, make it very uncomfortable, but
Hello to you too, Aries.
the God of War?
Yes.
Okay. Watch out for Kratos. Being an idiot.
So make sure you do this.
No, there's a guy I play with who uses the same
So at
method.
5849, start bringing
Pronunciations were sweat.
and bring that down.
Okay, the lightning round.
Yeah.
Okay.
So make sure you hit that when the commercial's in.
The Indonesia.
Lightning round.
Okay. One.
Scott says, as a supermarket employee, I can confirm that we have been warned about the possibility of shortages of certain products. Get your butter. Get your butter.
Get
your
your
butter.
butter.
Shortage on like beef as well.
Probably. It sounds like a lot of dairy stuff.
Milk cows and beef cows are different.
Yeah.
So they are trying to do away with beef altogether if they can, because their flatulence is causing the end of the world, apparently. So, it's all the cow's fault. So enjoy your steak while you can, and your cheese, and your butter,
And your butter.
Mm.
And your milk.
and your milk. I'm slightly lactose intolerant, so I can't, I'm okay with that.
Are you?
Just a little bit. You don't see me drink a lot of milk, do you? Cheese doesn't bother me that much, it's milk.
Huh. I never picked up on that.
Well, I didn't find out till they were trying to figure out what was wrong with my stomach, and
Oh,
the doctor told
gotcha.
me that was part
I
of it.
think that was a recent development, or was it something that's always been a thing?
I think I always had that problem, because when my roommates would come back after midnight with milk and donuts, I'd always feel a little bit ill after drinking
I never really drank that much milk either, so maybe it passed on.
is it a quart or a pint? Which is it? I don't know.
A
One
quarter's
of my
bigger than a
college
pint.
roommates developed lactose intolerance during our years in college, and it was very sad to watch that degradation of not being able to eat the stuff that I baked.
Oh. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, no, it's not that
I just
bad.
meant it was
but-
more for him.
Yeah, it was bad for him, not for me. More brownies for me.
All right, W has spoken. That means it is time for the lightning round, where we squeeze in as many things as we possibly can. Really quick, Gotham Knights just came out. Cameron and I both downloaded it, played it last night. I will say that I'm kind of disappointed in it, at least so far. I do like the dynamic of being able to play through the game co-op. So he and I are playing through the game. I'm playing as Nightwing. He's playing as Red Hood. You could also do that with Robin and Batgirl as well. But I think if you're going into this game thinking you're going to get the same kind of fighting style as the Arkham games,
Nope.
you're not. So if you played any of the Arkham games, when Batman is fighting any of the villains or anybody on the street, there's a flow to it. He can hit one guy and bounce to the next guy and bounce to the next guy. You don't get that as much. The camera doesn't turn with you when there's someone behind you. I know it's kind of like real life, but still it doesn't. From everything I've seen, other people reviewing it, that Nightwing is the best for that because of his acrobatics. I will tell you the finishing moves are really good. I really like the finishing moves. The bat cycles are cool. You can't wreck them though. I tried.
Yeah, he tried to T-bone me.
Yeah, I've been trying
I was
to
getting
T-bone
off
him
my
the entire
bike, and he was
time.
aiming for me.
Yeah, well, there's that, and the whole time he's in front of me. Why is your bike slower than mine? Because I keep running into the back of his bike trying to wreck him. I just want to see if it'll do it. So if you're going full speed on the bat cycle and you run into the back of a car, you know what happens? That's it. Just a thud. You don't get launched off the bike. It just stops. It's like you stub your toe. I mean, it just. But the graphics are good. The story is good so far, and there are a lot of things that you can unlock as far as moves and things like that. So as we go along, I think it's going to get better. And there's something called knighthood. When you get to knighthood, you're supposed to be able to unlock a whole lot of other things. As far as, most superhero games, you can unlock costumes. In this case, you can actually build the costumes. So you get materials and you can build the costumes. That is cool. I built a costume, and it was like half as strong as the one I already had. So you gotta pay attention to those numbers, which I did not. I just looked at, oh, that's a cool looking suit, and then it's like the suit I had on was 24 armor. The suit I made was 12. I was like,
There is transmog though, from what I saw. So you can eventually unlock all the different suits and then be able to wear whichever one you want.
Okay, that's cool. So anyway, Cameron, you having fun with it? I mean, we're having fun playing,
having fun
but
with
we
it.
always have fun playing together.
Yeah,
So
it's one of those things of it's not as good as Arkham, but it has enough elements to where I will keep playing it, especially for the story, because the opening cinematic for that was really good in my opinion.
it was. It definitely was. The
And-
graphics are good. The story is good. It's just I want the combat to be better, and it might end up being better. It might.
It's one of those things of once you get used to it, it might actually.
It's
flow
I
a
paid
little bit better.
$70 for it. Definitely going to play it till we beat it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, oh, this is horrible. I just can't play it. No. Even if it was the worst game ever made, you pay that much money for it. You're playing it till you beat it.
Yep.
And I've done that before. Bought some games that I shouldn't have bought, and it was horrible. That's why I love Game Pass, because on Game Pass and things like that, you're paying for your subscription, but you don't have to pay for the actual game, and you can play it for a little bit. This was not on it, but it's something I was looking forward to. I'm a big Nightwing fan. I collect Nightwing comics and statues and stuff like that. So it's worth it to get to play as your favorite comic book character.
Did they make 2 different games for the console? Or is it just...
I think it's across all consoles.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's on computer, but I think it's on.
It is on computer.
Is it? Okay, but I think it's on Xbox One and Series X and S, and also on PS4 and 5. Apparently, it doesn't matter about the FPS because it's so low. Did you notice that, Cameron?
I did it first.
Okay. All right.
It was something I had to get used to for a minute.
I am not used to 30 frames per second.
I'm sorry.
How dare they?
I'm sorry that your old eyes
What
can't pick up on
century
the
are we
lack
in?
of 30.
This is 2022. I need 60 FPS.
Here's
And-
the thing. The
60
way I should
FPS
probably
is peasant numbers. We got to pump those up.
All right, I was gonna say Matthew's looking at me
He
like,
is, look, Matthew is PC Master Race.
I am
no.
PC Master
no,
Race.
I get it. You guys both are FPS. I completely
The way
get that.
the way I should probably phrase this is, you would notice a difference in sound
I would.
because that's what you're trained for. You can tell different feels to it, different
so
changes and variations.
So my amateur eyes is what you're saying.
yes, your amateur eyes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. I'm so glad you made it to the last 20 minutes of the show to talk about my amateur eyes. Speaking of
Bust
being-
up here and just
Yeah.
wreck the whole place.
All right. So I want to thank Tron for being on the show because he's working, but also coming on and talking about his music. I think that's awesome. We got you at least one listener out of it, and that's cool. That's one you didn't have. Going to be more than that because me too. I mean, that's at least
yeah.
2. Cameron will be in on it too. And make sure you tune in next week as we do our Halloween show. At least tune in to see what Cameron and I are dressed up as. I think Matthew's going to come as a news voice.
I am going to come as a news voice, most likely.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Upstate Pulse, and see you next week. All right, so that should just finish out to the.
Yeah, my cosplay
no.
friend fell through. They
Should
didn't
finish
have the
out to the
time
idea.
to make something for me.
That sucks.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to push anything else. If you started it at the right
The
time.
dragon mask if you want it.
Okay. All right. So, Tron, say goodbye to the stream.
See you later, stream. Or see you later, stream.
All right. Cameron, say goodbye to the stream.
Thanks for my listening.
Goodbye, stream.
You got to do it in your microphone. That's it.
Goodbye, stream.
All right, Matthew, say goodbye to the stream.
Fare thee well, stream. I
Oh.
will see you next week.
How do I follow up on that? Hey, thanks for everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next weekend, and have a great weekend. And next weekend, will you be scared? Will you be thrilled? I don't know, because it's Halloween.